Oil is climbing, and some experts are warning that a gallon of gas could reach $4 once again. Kira.
All right, Olivia Rubin, thank you. Well, exposing alleged election interference or just undermining the Constitution? President Trump says he's delivering a primetime address later tonight, saying he has really big news while mentioning the importance of free and fair elections. Sources telling us he's set to detail information he's recently received from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence related to the 2020 election. As you well know, Trump has long pushed debunked conspiracy theories claiming his 2020 election loss was rigged. It's not immediately clear what allegations he will make as part of his speech, but to this day, there has been no evidence of widespread election fraud. DC Managing Editor Catherine Walters joins us once again. So Trump has been pushing these baseless election lies for nearly 6 years now. What is he trying to gain here tonight?
Yeah, it's a good question, Kira. You know as well as anybody that he continues to talk about it. He continues to talk about his 2020 election loss, saying that the election, in his words, was rigged and stolen from him. Now, it's unclear exactly what Trump will present in his speech tonight, though he has alluded to the fact that it will be about the election. He says it will be about some other things as well. I'm told that a speech has been prepared, or that the speech that is being prepared is particularly and secretly solely focused on the election and warning the American people about upcoming elections in the country. But it's unclear exactly what Trump will present as new here. Now, we do know that the person who he has put in charge of the Director of National Intelligence, the DNI, Bill Pulte, a Trump loyalist with no intelligence experience, has been tasked with digging up information, intelligence information that may show, in Trump's view, that the election was, whether it be rigged or stolen or whatever Trump wants to say, that is why he's put Bill Pulte in there. Now, we know from sources that Trump has obtained information from the DNI, information that claims to be new. Our understanding is that it's previous documents that the FBI has newly reviewed, so intelligence that has already existed in the intelligence community, and that he will talk about that and present it in some way. So we'll still have to obviously keep an eye on what he says during the speech. We don't really have any way of knowing until the words come out of his mouth, but it's important to note, too, that the agency tasked with this, the DNI, you see a photo right there of Jay Clayton. That is who Trump nominated to take over the post of DNI. And Jay Clayton was asked multiple times, more than a dozen times, during his nomination hearing, if he could say that Biden won the election. Clayton couldn't make it. Testified for top posts in Trump's administration have not been able to say that Biden won the election. Instead, they just say the election was certified for Biden in 2020. They obviously know that this is something that if they were to say who won the election in 2020, that would not go over well with Trump. So this all ties into what we will hear, presumably, from him.
All right, we'll be tracking it. Catherine, thanks. So Meta is unveiling a new safety feature to help parents protect their teens using AI. The company says that the new feature will help parents know if their teen may be considering self-harm. Chief Business Correspondent Rebecca Jarvis tells us how it works. Rebecca.
So Meta just announced a new safety feature called Parent Alerts, which will notify a parent if the company believes a teen's conversations with Meta AI suggest they may be considering suicide or self-harm. Parents will also receive expert resources to help them approach these difficult conversations with their teens. Meta says it built a dedicated AI system to identify these types of high-risk conversations, working with experts and parents to determine which types of conversations should warrant an alert as an additional safeguard. And it may chat flagged by AI will be reviewed by a human before an alert is sent. They say if the teen's intent is ambiguous, they will err on the side of caution. And this comes as just yesterday, a group of 26 Meta employees sued the company, claiming it used AI systems to disproportionately target those on medical, parental, and family leave in the layoffs the company announced starting in May, affecting about 10% of its workforce. Meta said in a statement that the claims lack merit and are not based on facts. Workforce management and organizational decisions were and are made by people, not AI. Back to you.
All right, Rebecca, thank you. And of course, if someone you know is in a mental health crisis, you can text or call the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. Help is available 24/7. So a dangerously low-level flyby by a Blue Angels pilot is causing some concern at a beach in Florida. Beachgoers were stunned after this jet flew right overhead, sending tents, umbrellas, and chairs into the air. Blue Angels are now reviewing the incident, saying safety is their highest priority. ABC's Brianna Nally has all the details.
This morning, stunning video showing a Navy jet flying extremely low over Pensacola Beach in Florida during a Blue Angels flight demonstration. Watch as the jet soars just feet over the heads of dozens of beachgoers, tents seen collapsing, umbrellas and chairs lifting off the ground, and visitors stunned.
I've been coming for 10 years, and I've never seen a pass like that in my life. I'm gonna remember that for probably the rest of my life.
John Austin Lynch was there and says the jets had been circling for nearly 2 hours up until that startling moment.
They were flying over our heads all day, and so, but nothing nearly like that. I would describe it as frightening in a good way, like when you're watching a movie hoping for the jump scare where it gets your heart pumping.
The crowd erupting in applause after the spectacle. The flyover was conducted to mark the start of the Blue Angels 2026 Pensacola Beach Air Show, this year honoring the 80th anniversary of the historic flight squadron. In a statement, the Blue Angels saying the aircraft was flying lower than standard profiles and that they're reviewing the incident, adding, the safety of our hometown community, spectators, and our pilots is our highest priority.
Now, there are strict Navy and FAA safety standards they must follow, so this investigation will look at whether they did follow those. No one was hurt in this. Spectators definitely got a show they will never forget.
That's for sure. Well, Leo Messi and Argentina are headed to the World Cup final, something that we'll never forget. After stunning England, Argentina coming back from a goal down, scoring twice in 7 minutes to end England's World Cup hopes in dramatic fashion. Now, while Spain and Argentina get ready for the World Cup final, all the other players are heading back to their club teams, and many of them are staying in the U.S. to play in Major League Soccer. U.S. men's national team captain and Charlotte FC defender Tim Ream actually joined our ABC News Live anchor Stephanie Ramos. Here's part of the interview.
Let's just start off with, how are you doing? What have the last couple of weeks been like for you?
It's been crazy. It's been, a long summer. Obviously, we would have loved for it to be longer, but yeah, just the excitement that's been around the tournament and the World Cup and has been, incredible. And it's taken, the better part of the last week to kind of settle down from all of that.
I bet. And the MLS season kicks off tonight. Is that right? And then you've got the next big event for you is the All-Star game at the end of the month. So how do you prepare for that after going through all of these World Cup games? Are you excited to go against some of these athletes? What are you looking forward to the most?
Yeah, it's an amazing experience. I've been fortunate to participate in one previously, and it is, it's a huge honor. Obviously, you get to play with some of the best players in the league, and a lot of those guys are the same ones who have just played in the World Cup. So we'll be able to discuss and talk about our unique experiences and how each person felt differently about the World Cup. So it'll be nice to see everybody.
And on that same note, how are you and your teammates processing the disappointing loss, but just that whole experience?
Honestly, we look at it as mostly positive. The way that the team played, but then also the way that the supporters from all over the world traveled to the country, and to feel that energy, that excitement. It was just an overall incredible experience, and it's something that the group chat still talks about how amazing the experience was, and how great it was to connect with fans from all over the world.
Yeah, I bet. And I mean, gosh, how exciting. I'd love to take a peek at that group chat, though. Like, what are you guys really talking about? But what do you say to fans that were watching and just were on the edge of their seat, just hoping for that win? What would you say to them?
I think that the easiest thing is to say thank you. We felt their energy, we felt their excitement everywhere we played, and even on social media, we saw all the excitement that they were bringing and the energy that they were bringing all throughout the tournament. It was incredible to to bring them on that journey with us. Obviously, again, we keep saying we would have loved for it to last longer, but at the end of the day, if we could make people believe in something greater than ourselves, then it was successful. And if we could inspire more kids and more people to fall in love with the game, then it was even more successful than we could have imagined.
I'm sure you've inspired many people around the globe, including my two kiddos who play soccer. They were very excited to watch. I want to talk about Mauricio Pochettino. He says there was a culture of complacency around the program when he came on as manager. You've played under 6 U.S. coaches in 16 years. How does Pochettino compare, and what impact has he had on the team's culture?
Yeah, I think his message from the beginning was you have to earn the right to be within the team. There are no guaranteed spots. It doesn't matter if you're the oldest player or the youngest player. If you've never been in a camp, you have to be doing everything that you possibly can every single day, when people aren't watching, when people are watching, to want to be a part of the group. It was about playing for your country. It was about playing for the crest on the front, not the name on the back. And he instilled that from his very first day. And I think, guys, after a short amount of time, really understood that, listen, I have to be doing what is required to be a part of the group. And sometimes that might not still be enough. So it was incredible. He brought this obviously South American flair and love and passion to the group. But it was about making sure you're doing everything you possibly can to be a part of the group and not expecting to be a part of the group.
Yeah, and what do you think needs to happen for the U.S. to join this elite tier? Do you see MLS playing a role in that?
Yeah, I think you have to develop players from a young age. You have to have a pathway for players to actually visibly see, okay, these are the steps I can take, and MLS plays an important role in that, right? I think there were 8 guys from the MLS who were on the World Cup roster. Countless more who have gone through MLS and moved overseas. So MLS will always play a part, but I think it's about developing from an earlier, younger age, and continuing that development. And really, it comes down to each individual player. How much are they willing to do? How much are they willing to push? And do they have the right people around them to help them achieve that goal?
Yeah, solid advice. Thank you so much for joining us, Jim. We were cheering for you, rooting for you, and we still are. Congratulations on all your success. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And our thanks to Stephanie and Tim. Thank you. We'll be watching the game, of course, on Sunday. Well, from the pitch to politics, this fall, Congress is set to take up a bill that would change how young people in the foster care system define family. The legislation would allow teens ages 16 and up in D.C. to legally enlist guardians, relatives, or other trusted adults for support without having to completely cut legal ties to their birth parents. D.C.'s mayor signed off on the bill, and now it has bipartisan support in Congress. Our Alex Brachet talks to some of the young people behind the bill.
According to the Annie E. Casey Foundation, youth who age out without support are more likely to experience housing insecurity, incarceration, unemployment, or have children at an early age.
Like, if you're going to take a youth, you need to build that youth up. They need community, they need love, they need support, they need respect, they need guidance. That's how I look at them. You snatched me from my mom because she didn't have all the resources and the help that she needed to take care of her children. I was lost. So it's like, we're trying to change that.
Federal data shows between 15 and 20,000 young people exit the foster care system nationally each year without adoption, a legal guardian, or reunification with their biological families. In D.C., 18% of foster care youth age out of the system without that support. That's twice the rate of the national average.
And our thanks to Alex Brachet for that. You can see the full story tonight on ABC News Live Prime with Lindsay Davis. It streams at 7 p.m. Eastern right here on ABC News Live. Straight ahead, one wager that may not pay off. What we know about a gambling scandal tied to President Trump's speeches. Plus, was he working on his backswing or just looking for a picnic? The bear who wasn't on the hunt for honey, but rather a handicap. Next.
Sharing reduces stress.
It's what they say. Whee! Mike and Ike, we got you. Havaiana, espalha o molho brasileiro pro mundo.